Hi everyone, Sully here from Black Ops Toys coming at you today with another part of our build. This is part 5, I think. We'll say 4 or 5, but I'll call it 5. This is the rifle build for the ES26048R, which we do have on our website. You can buy the parts or you can buy the complete figure. If you buy the complete figure, or if you just want to see build content, make sure that you check out our Patreon channel where you'll be able to see full builds of a lot of custom work and a lot of figures right out of the box. So when you, the customer or fan, buy one of these things, you know what you're doing and you don't have to learn the hard way. So this is the rifle. This is an HK 416D. And we are going to be putting this together from start to finish, and this is how you get it right out of the box, okay? Now I do have some stickers left over from the headset that I'm going to use on a couple parts on here just to give it some pizzazz, but we're going to go ahead and get this thing built just like it is in the pictures, and let's go ahead and get started. So, rifle, very, very nice quality. ENS is always good stuff. You can change some parts out. You could actually take the lower off, use the upper on a different receiver if you wanted to. You can take the buttstock off. You can take that like that, drop that like that, and then you could throw on a different buttstock if you wanted to. I'm just removing it so that I have more play with it when I'm putting on the parts and I don't break anything. So, first thing I'm going to do is set up, I think, we're going to do the top rail first, and you can set it up a bunch of different ways. It doesn't have to be anything specific. So if you like it one way, you can do that. If you like it a different way, you could do that. You don't have to do it the same way I'm doing it, okay? I'm just going to build it like I would build my own. So when I hold a rifle, I go like this, right? Just like the pew pew, just like that, but real size. So I want to put things where I would be able to use the function buttons. And so it makes sense when you put it on an action figure, hey, they actually thought of where stuff went and put it together correctly. So, top rail is a Picatinny rail, and things can slide on here. They can also slide off. So some optics come and you slide them on and they'll drop right off, in which case we're going to use some glue dots here and here. If you don't know what they are, check out my previous videos or just watch this one. And we're going to start here, I think, and then we'll go and build down. So, first thing I'm going to do, this right here is a magnifier, and this is a red dot, okay? The magnifier is on a swivel mount, so that's really cool. Basically, if you need it, you can swivel it right behind this optic right here, and it basically enhances the vision, okay? It's not night vision, but it basically gets you more of a close-up, okay? So, basically, top rail is going to look like this with these 3 items. And then possibly I'm going to do the PEC on top as well. So bunch of different lasers, bunch of different flashlights. We got suppressors, we got rails, and we got a sling, which a lot of people don't know how to do. So we're going to show you how to do that as well. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this on in the order that I presented it. And we're going to go to where it would be in all actuality, okay? Now, scopes, red is typically the front, or the colored lenses in the front typically, okay? These right here should just slide right on. And they do. That looks good. That should flip up just like that, and you're good to go. Okay. Then I'm going to do the PEQ on top as well. So basically, everything that I'm putting on the front, if I was shooting this in real life, you'd have a lot less muzzle climb, just because there's so much gear on top. Whether or not you'd have this amount of shit on top, stuff on top. This is rated PG. Whether or not you can see. You don't have to put everything on here. I'm just going to for shits and giggles. There I go again. So this right here you can see is a little bit loose, right? So that does slide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure that with a glue dot. And again, if you watch the previous videos or the previous build video, you know that I use these an awful lot. And the reason I use these is because when I use them, it's not like using super glue. You never want to use super glue unless you're gluing a part and it's never coming off, okay? I like to be able to build out my rifles or change stuff up, so I'm going to use a glue dot just to kind of gum it up So you can see the glue dot on there. And now I'm just going to run this. And again, you don't need to use all this stuff, okay? I'm going to run that up to there. There's your little laser holes. Now this is kind of doing double duty here. And that would be just in case this thing failed or something like that. But essentially this guy's job, this figure's job, is to call in air support, okay? So basically he's going to laze the target, and he's going to do it with this guy, or he's going to do it with this guy, but one of the two. So you can see the little push buttons on top here to turn it on. And we are going to slide this on as well. And this is designed so that it does look like it's cantilevered or angled, okay? And that is so, I'm going to go right up top like that. Basically when I have my hand on the front of the gun, I can access these buttons with my thumb, and that's the way I want to turn them on and off, okay? And then you're also going to have a little light, which is going to go about right there, okay? But that right there is your top. Again, if I want to gum something up, I would just use a glue dot. I'm going to go ahead and do that on the front as well. So another tiny little piece, not an entire thing. And you can buy these glue dots in different sizes. I just get whatever's available at the time, whatever's the best deal, because I just cut them up anyway. But you can get them smaller if you want to, or bigger. Just tapping it down. Okay. I'm going to check the suppressor and see if that fits. We don't want anything. That looks really good. Really, really good. Just checking to see if it's straight. That looks really, really sweet. Looking good. Looks really good. So now we're going to do the foregrip, and we're going to do the sling, and a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to take this right here is a little sling adapter, okay? And essentially, if you look at the sling, it's got a little claw on it. Depending on the sling, this is a 2-point sling, which means 2 points of contact on the weapon. But essentially, this right here is going to be able just to clip in there like that. And that's going to hang mid-rifle. So I'm going to put this thing right here inside of this little hole. Like that. Push it down. And it is on a swivel, so that's just like the real thing. It does swivel to the curvature of the body when this is attached with the sling. That's good. We're getting there. I'm going to put the magazine in. Now I think what we're going to do is the front, and we're going to do some of these rail segments. So I definitely want a foregrip, okay, because that's a lot of weight on top. So this thing right here again is a Picatinny style, and this will just slide right on here like that. And you could use a small one or you could use a big one. But these rails, you get them, you don't have to use them. I'd recommend you use them. Personally, I'm going to dress it up so it's the same on each side. But again, you don't have to. I'm going to go ahead and use, I think, the these are a little bit tricky. You can see they just slot in. They don't actually stay necessarily. Let's see how this looks. That's about where I would have it. That way I can grip. Essentially you want the grip so I can actually use the buttons. I want my hand to slide back onto the grip, so I'd want enough room to make sure that I could play and either hold the gun here or hold the gun here. And these do not stick in necessarily. Sometimes you get a tighter fit, which is better when they just pop in, but these do not. So we're going to actually use some glue dots here in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and throw these guys on the side. That popped in on the side, no problem. That's not going to come out. I'm going to check on the bottom one more time. A lot of play there. Go ahead and dress this up so it's the same. And again, if you had other types of attachments, you didn't want to use some of these things, then you could just slide something onto these rails as well. I'm just going to make it so it matches. Check my flashlight, which will just slide on one of these guys. Like that. So. That way I could reach this or this. Okay, so I want that grip about right there. And again, it's not permanent, so you can move it around if you want to. This is a longer rifle. It's also going to use a bipod, so you have to remember that we're going to stick that on the front as well. Okay. So okay. Just going to test something. This does not require a large footprint. Okay. I'm going to go with the smaller segments on the side and utilize the bigger ones for the bipod and the foregrip. Alright, so we're tight fit on the side there. Not so much on the bottom. I can see where I want it, and this might be a place where you'd want to tack just a dot of glue down, and that's because this stuff is a little bit heavy and this will pop that off without issue, so I may actually do that. And the way I'm going to do this is, you never want to put glue directly onto something, so I'm not going to put very much on because I want to be able to pop that off if I need to. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And always make sure that you cap it right away. I'm going to use a crappy pair of tweezers, and I'm just going to come down here like that. Just going to put a tiny bit on here. Tiny, tiny bit. Not a lot. And then maybe a little bit in the center. We're going to hold it. I'm just going to blow on it a little bit. That should give us enough to mount that tripod to. And the tripod does bend down like that, and then the legs do come out. Okay, they do pop off, so it's not broken. But you have to be careful because when they swivel, this could pop out of socket, and has for me over time the more you move it. Okay, so. can see it popped off again. So. Almost there. Okay. And then I'm going to use the same thing for my foregrip. And again, you could put the small ones on the bottom. I just happen to like the big ones on the bottom because then I'm able to actually move this forward or backward, depending. So I think I want to go about right there. Same process, a little bit of stuff. A little bit of stuff on there. A little bit of stuff there. Just enough. Get that out of the way. Okay, now to fasten this, I'm going to use more glue dot. Oh, where'd it go?
I think it fell on the floor.
Quite possibly. You're gonna need to secure that. The reason I'm not using a glue dot necessarily on these things, which I have done in the past, is because it does space. There's too much space. Okay, so. Different way to do it. Bounce off the excess. Give that a minute, it should stick. Now, because I did it that way, I'm able to move this grip forward or backward if I want to, just because I have a longer rail segment. So we're going to keep moving. We need some more glue dot. Do the flashlight. You could lay it right on here like this. Just tack it down a little bit. It's looking good, looking straight. Now we're going to go ahead and throw on this bipod. Definitely want a glue dot for that. Last one. I'm going to use a bigger chunk for the bipod because it's such a large piece. You can see it shapes to the rail. Press down on it. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Now, put that guy in the back. Okay, so the sling, we talked about doing it a couple different ways. We can do the claw up front here like that. We can also do the claw attachment right here on this quick release. You guys can see where that is right there. I just checked the stock shots, and the way they did it was pretty much a mid area, so they're going to attach this claw here, and then they're going to put this through here, okay? Now you can set this up a bunch of different ways. You could put it through the stock here, you could put it a bunch of different ways, but we're going to go ahead and follow the guide on this one, and I'll show you how to set this up the way they have it in the stock photos, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and pop this guy back out. Okay. We're going to go ahead and sling this thing. So this little adapter is going to be, you don't want to lose that, okay? But essentially I want to get this thing through here. Like that. Now that that's on there, actually, let's do it the other way. These are kind of a pain in the butt to figure out how to do. But what I want to do, you can see how it has a little bar in the middle there. I actually want to come back through here, and then we're going to go back. So there we go. The top one. And that shouldn't come out now. Plug that back in. We're going to want to take some of this slack out. Come in here with this guy, like that. We're just going to clip right on here, like that. Now we're going to throw the buttstock on. So when you remove this, this allows you to pull the stock in and out and then also fasten it to where you want. Now, I should be able just to throw the suppressor on. And that's your completed rifle. You can see this came loose down here, so yep, tiny bit too loose. So again, I'm just going to drop a little bit of glue there. That should still be wet. Okay, good to go. Okay, so now that that's all done, if I wanted to dress it up, I could take some of these and I could throw them on the various parts just to kind of make it my own type deal. So I'm just going to cut some of this off and then throw it on there. I'm going to see if I can make any shapes here, like that. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's like paper craft. So I have something like that lined up. just for a splash of color. All I'm doing is just mocking it up. Doesn't have to be perfect. And we're not going to put one on that side. That's got the battery compartment, but this just makes it unique. Cover that right there. And they do this with Ranger tape. So just to cover up any markings. Again, we're going to have to reglue that one. And again, nobody has to do this, so this is just something I'm doing just for fun. Just to make it different. Now you can't see all those white letters. For sure, I want to cover the inside. Trying to get it centered. Cool. So I'll probably do a couple more little pieces, but yeah, that's your rifle essentially. Just throw a little bit more glue and then we'll call it on this one. All right, so we're just gonna let that sit. There you go.